Man United obviously beat Fulham convincingly, didn't they? 3-1. But there was a point where Fulham were controlling the game to an extent, and United was scrapping to get back into it. Suddenly there was a handball on the line from Willian, wasn't there? The ball was definitely going in, and it was a clear hand. He tried to mask it by putting his knee up to his hand to make it look like it was, not extending his body. But it was a definite clear goal-scoring opportunity that he prevented with his hand. Rightfully sent off. But what happened after that is something I've never seen before on a football pitch. Marco Silva gets a red for dissent as the referee's looking at VAR to see if it is a red, see if it's a penalty. I don't know why he gets involved and what he feels like he has to say at that point, because it's such a clear decision. And then not only that, seconds later, Alexander Mitrovic manhandles the referee and rightfully gets a red card as well. So 3 reds in the space of a couple of minutes and handed the game to United, basically. It was madness, wasn't it?
I mean, it's bad enough getting 1 red card. But then Mitrovic putting himself in a position there to get sent off was just ridiculous. That's not... Let's be honest, he's not got the best disciplinary record, has he?
He's got a temper, that's the thing, and it flared up there.
Yeah, but with his experience now, like, he's not a baby in the game anymore. He knows that, especially these days, you can't get away with what you used to get away with 10 years ago.
But then the manager's reaction, Marco Silva, his act of dissent as well, it's not the best example, is it, either? And I think he's apologised since that and said he was in the wrong to do that. But it's not going to help someone like Mitrovic control his temper when he's making it worse, is it?
Obviously, we don't know what was said for him to get red carded.
No.
But his post-match interview, he did. He was quite stubborn in the way he obviously answered some of those questions. He tried to kind of take the limelight off his players, didn't he, and tried to kind of shift it on to some decisions that went on the game. Said that Fulham should have had a penalty. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that personally. So it was the heat of the moment. I'm not gonna kind of slate him for that, because I think he was just annoyed with how the game shifted in momentum on the basis of that handball decision and obviously the red card. I don't think it was a bad decision. I thought it was the right decision. But you can understand why he was so frustrated, and I think that's the frustration got the better of him.
Yeah, clearly. I think that at the time, though, Fulham weren't out of the game by any means, were they? They were in control. They were ahead. So they had a very good chance of getting to an FA Cup semi-final. And that kind of lack of discipline, it's just shot them in the foot massively, because they could have seen this game through. United weren't in control by any means. They were definitely pushing for a way through, but they were still behind, United were. So I'm baffled by how it capitulated so quickly, how they just imploded from a small lack of discipline that just exploded into incredible scenes. I've never seen anything like it.
They were fully in control of the game up to about 70th minute when United scored that penalty. Fulham were just... They looked far better than United. United looked tired. Looked slow.
I agree. I think they were hanging on up to that point, and I think the inclusion of João Palhinha, you can tell they've missed him, can't they? Because their midfield just dominated ours, and I think United up to that point struggled to get a foothold in the game for that reason. The midfield was just overrun. So not just going down to 10 men, but down to 9 men. There's only one thing United could do, and that's just take the game by the scruff of the neck and go on and win it. So I think fair play to United for keeping themselves in a position to take advantage of it. Definitely, they didn't drop their heads. They kept persisting, and I think fans and the players genuinely thought they could get back into the game. Even though it was going into the last sort of third of the game. But I don't think any team wants to win it like that, do they? You'd rather win it through sheer grit and determination. But fair play to United, and Marcel Sabitzer got his first goal as well, so good to see that as well.
I think it was a moment of madness that changed it, really. That I thought Fulham were a bit naive in how they pushed too many men forward when Anthony obviously counter-attacked. I thought that was another really good change by Ten Hag. I thought that was a game changer when Anthony came on. He just offered so much sort of more of an aggressive nature on that right flank. He looked quicker as well. It looked like he was really kind of trying to be more direct in coming on. He did the same thing against Barcelona as well. When he came on against Barcelona, he looked like really up for it. It looked like he wanted to make an impact, change the game, and he did. He obviously played that pass into Sancho. He had a couple of other moments where he created chances. He could have had a goal himself. I thought he played really well, and I just thought Fulham were a little bit naive in that moment, and they were vulnerable on the counter attack. And on a couple of occasions, there were a couple of warning signs, and they did get, they got burnt on this one. And I think that's where probably Marco Silva would be quite frustrated. Really, I think he probably thought that could have been avoided.
Yeah, easily. I think if you're fair about it though as well, it's great for United to be in, another semi-final there at Wembley again, and it's a great start to Erik ten Hag's tenure. But they are looking quite tired, aren't they? You can tell they're fighting on all fronts, and there's been a bit of criticism with the way Mitrovic got sent off for handling the referee. And Bruno Fernandes did pretty much the same in the Liverpool game with the linesman, didn't he? And had no card at all. And I have to say, we're both United fans. And I think if there was any kind of card against Bruno Fernandes, retrospectively or at the time, I wouldn't have any disagreement with that, because you can't go pushing officials around. You can't manhandle them. And I know the level of aggression for Mitrovic was a lot different. But just for the people watching and listening, I totally agree that the kind of punishment that Mitrovic got, there should have been some punishment for Fernandes as well. However, I do think that Mitrovic will get a lot more punishment down the line now, because it was so aggressive. That's the thing.
I don't know whether I agree with that. I do think Mitrovic's was more aggressive. Like, he actually pulled the referee's arm and pulled him towards him. Fernandes, he was coming off of the pitch, and they had a throw in or something like that, and I think he just flailed his arm as if to say I need to get through. And obviously United were losing at that time. I thought that would have been harsh. I can see why he's sent Mitrovic off in this instance. I don't know whether the two situations are comparable. Yeah, they both obviously touched the referee. I thought Mitrovic was just too aggressive in his nature. Obviously,
I agree. I think the way he was talking to the ref as well, you could see he was getting very verbal with him as well. And I think Marco Silva was the same as well, and I can get why that's influenced him more. There
have been some things rumoured to what he had said as well on the internet, really? Some expletives. I don't want to repeat what they were, but if that's what was said, I can understand why. What that could have added to why he'd been sent off.
That's why I say I think that it's a terrible kind of situation for Fulham, because they're going to lose the manager from the touchline and key players, but also I think Mitrovic will have his ban extended because the nature of the sending off and the things that will come to light in the referee's report from the kind of things he said. But I know it's not comparable with Bruno Fernandes as well. However, I think there needs to be a line where if you cross it, i.e. you touch an official or push them or however aggressive it is, there should be some degree of punishment. Even if it was a yellow to Bruno, I kind of think, fair enough. We shouldn't be doing that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit like hands to the face. Like, if you raise your hand and slap a player on the face and he goes down, you're probably going to get sent off. If you punch a player in the face, you're definitely going to get sent off. There's degrees of aggression, but the same principle applies,
Yeah, I mean, that's what everyone wants, just some consistency. I mean, we don't want to band on too much about refereeing decisions and VAR and all that nonsense that we've moaned and complained about for the last few weeks and probably forevermore. So let's just leave it at that.